A few things nobody's really telling you about breathwork. Now, I know this might sound a bit clickbaity, but bear with me. If you stick by the end of this video, you'll get some real insight and tips that don't really exist anywhere online, at least I didn't find, and they're coming purely from my own practice of breathwork and immersing it in my lifestyle. Hello everybody, my name is Andre. I'm a breathwork practitioner and meditation practitioner for some time, and I'm sharing my experience in hoping to give you some real value and helping you go deeper. Now, first, right off the bat, I'm going to give you the first piece of valuable information, a valuable tip about your practice. Keep a whiteboard or a sheet of paper near you when you do the breath work, especially if you're like me and you're immersing it, you're doing intervals throughout your daily life. For example, if you're doing one at lunch break, one in the evening, if you're doing a short one in the morning, keep something that it'll be really easy for you to just snap out of the breath work and go and write things down. Could be a real game changer, especially if you are a person that is using breathwork for improving and transcending to your next version in life. The insight that you can get from the breathwork might subside after some time, but if you write them while they're fresh, you can get some amazing changes and benefit in your life. Now, about that, we do have two realms. Well, some people say we have a lot more than two, but I just want to talk about two at the moment. We have a realm of breathwork, and we have the realm of normal life. And if you have done breathwork for some time, you can already see this pretty clearly, right? Now, when you're doing breathwork and when you're engaging in such somatic practices, even mindful meditation when done correctly, if you're taking psychedelic drugs, all of these are showing you the beyond, showing you the higher consciousness, right? And once you're transcending and you're reaching to a level which is extraordinary as opposed to everyday life, you're really entering into a different universe. Now imagine this. The world as we see it, we see the world from our senses, our eyes, ears, touch, smell, etc., taste. But in reality, the world, we can go deeper than that, and the world can be even more real than that. In fact, the world exists on some sort of a base form of energy, which is the most real aspect we can touch. And on top of the energy, as if imagine the fingers are, each of them are a manifestation of different energy, right? On top of them, we dress or we paint, or as if imagine little puppets, and these puppets, they look different, they feel different. Those are what we perceive with our senses. Our senses create the puppets, and they dress them upon each finger. So when we look at the reality that we experience in our life, when we are in this state, normal state, life state, for an extended period of time, without doing the practices like breath work, without going in deeply, then we stay in the reality with the puppets for so long, we forget that the puppets, underneath the puppets, there is something that is more real. Now, I'm not saying it's bad or good. For example, I sometimes, as I speak about in this channel, I like to take a break from breathwork sometimes. I like to, or I want to experience life as everybody experiences it, right? As it's popular in our culture, we experience life through the senses in a normal way. I just want to live in this world for a moment. And I do, and for a day or two or three. And I've become more and more aware how this experience looks like. And it's not necessarily bad to experience life through the senses, it's just different, right? And to be aware of this difference. I feel it's so vital, it's so important to know, to remember that the manifestation of life around you will look like, you will perceive it completely differently in depending on which of the two states you're on. Are you on your high vibration, high flying disc? Are you, on your breathwork, meditation, mindful path, and you are on a higher frequency? Then yeah, sure, you will experience life like that. And if you've not practiced for a while, depending on what you do in your day-to-day life, depending on what you consume, what you create, your whole shebang, of course, not just breath work, but if your energy frequency is lower, then you experience life through the senses, through polarity, through duality, right? Good and bad, light and dark. You'll just keep experiencing those. And this could be interesting too. But the thing is, it's been maybe my life mission at this point to connect a bridge, especially between things that seem unlikely to connect a bridge between. And it's as if no matter how hard our mind tries to make a bridge between those two experiences, the experience of transcendence and the experience of the ordinary, it is very hard. It's very hard. Those two you can experience fully. You can completely immerse yourself in the experience of both of these. But through experiencing this, pay attention to this part because this is game changing. Through experiencing one of those, I'm immersed in one of those, thinking, contemplating the other, let's say I'm in a transcendent state and I'm contemplating the ordinary life state, I will be contemplating it through the eyes of transcendent spirit. Let's switch it. I'm living ordinary life, I have not practiced for some time, and I'm thinking about, trying to imagine, trying to remember, because I've experienced it before. I've experienced both before, a lot of times. But yet, in an ordinary state, I'm trying to think about and try to remember what it feels like and what life looks like when I'm in the transcendent state. Even though I've done this many times, still, hundreds of times, still, I will be able to only grasp it with the eyes of the ordinary experience that I experience. So, it's really interesting, and it's not really possible to just snap out of it. It's not possible to think your way into one of the experience. You have to embody it. You have to do something with your body. Do something with your body. The mind tries to make a logical bridge between those two, but it cannot, in fact. It cannot, and that is something quite marvelous, isn't it? Because the mind keeps thinking that he's able to do everything. Just give me a task, and I can make the logical connection. I can make it, I can translate it to my own language. But in fact, we can't. It doesn't matter how much I speak right now. The thing that really matters is once you pop into that breathwork session. Once I just popped into a breathwork session today, after abstaining from it from like a day or two. The first round of breath hold already was just like, wow, right? Have you ever had that before? When you were not doing breathwork for a little bit, then you're doing one for just a few minutes, and already the first breath hold, and you're, wow. Now the thing is, I already knew that wow was coming. I already knew that the breathwork would have this immense impact on me. I remembered it. It's not my first time that this happens. So going through the motions again and again and again, I remember the effect it has on me. I remember how strongly it feels in my body. When my mind has so many problems, he holds these problems in the body, because mind and body are connected. He holds the problems in the body, and he keeps looking for a solution up here, which makes him hold the problems just longer. And you're tense. You're so tense. And then at some moment, you go and do the breath work. And you just let go of everything. The problems are no longer problems. You don't see problems. You just see solutions. You just see work. You just see motivation. You've switched it. You flipped the script on its head. It's completely different. Now, the thing is, my brain tried to anticipate how it would feel to do the breath work. Oh, I have so many problems. Maybe I should do the breath work. And it's as if, it's so interesting what happens, it's as if my brain is asking my body, should we do breath work? Do you know feelings or situations when your brain is asking your body a question? It's like, maybe it's not a conscious asking, but it's sort of like a caveman syndrome, when your body is running the show. Food, delicious, sex, sleep, wake up. When your body is running the show, and he's the one making the calls, kind of asking your brains for things and maneuvering. So when the body felt all the problems, he gave a question to the brain. He was like, hey, breath work, I feel there's something there. Will it help us? And the brain went to the memory and said, yes, I remember that it helps somehow, but I can't remember how. And I think there is some conflicting things there, because he knows that there is the brain, because in the brain we don't have only this mechanism of problem solving, we also have our ego, the willingness to stay, our pain body, as Eckhart Tolle says. We have mechanisms that wants to keep this experience of the senses, and he doesn't want to let that go. So he wouldn't just give you the solution, go and do breathwork, that'll solve everything. He wouldn't tell you that. Even though that's the truth, he wouldn't tell you that. In fact, if you are gonna rely on your brain to remind you to do breathwork when it's really necessary for you, to take 10 minutes and breathe a little bit, then you might be disappointed, because even though we have a mechanism such as we are hungry, then we get the request, we remember that food will make us feel good about this hunger, we go and eat, and it does work that way. I couldn't say that it's the same with breathing. No, because here we have two things. We know, our body and our brain knows that we will alleviate some of the pain, but he also knows that we will make it more conscious, it will make the ego lessened. Some parts of you will have to be let go of. It doesn't want to let go of them, so it doesn't give you the solution straight away. So the solution is, what is the solution? What do you think? Based on what you heard right now. I know it's not a normal thing to ask in a video, but maybe you can contemplate for a moment. What do you think the solution for that is? Honestly, between you and yourself. For a person that watches this video who is into self-development, becoming the best version of himself, conquering his wildest dreams, if it's in your business, in your studies, in your life, in your relationships, travel, what's the way? What should we do? Well, for starters, being aware of your effect in both is good and important. But my advice, don't rely on your brain and your body signaling you that it's time for breath work. Don't rely on that happening. Just assume that it's not going to happen. Assume that they're not going to remember. And create that space for yourself in advance. Create those time slots during the day. 2-3 times a day to sit for 10 minutes is very powerful. And some people are going and doing just the 1 hour, rebirthing 1 hour, Wim Hof, 40 minutes, Here's my advice. Try different methodologies, different types of breathing to figure out what's the best for you. Different people breathe in a different way. So try different methodologies of breathing. Look at your consciousness. How do they affect you? Keep your whiteboard by you, or at least a notebook, and write down so you don't forget, because you will. Write down the effect it has on you. Did it energize me? Did it downregulate me? What ideas I had? what changes I felt, what new inspirations I have. Write it down and put a few moments in your day that you're gonna do this. Instead of once a week or once in whenever, when you're sitting for a real session, try to do 2-3 times a day. 3 is really the best. Do 5-10 minutes. If you can do 15, even better, you'll go deeper. But 5 to 10 minutes, I never found a system that you can get so much done, that you can go so deeply in just 5 minutes. It's truly amazing. So keep looking, find the right breathwork for you until you feel you found something that can spice up your life in the way that I found a system that works best for me, right? For every situation, for every moment in the day, for the lunch energy decline, for the morning anxiety or lack of energy, for the evening wind down. Find your perfect thing, incorporate it in your life, keep coming back to it, and you remember that you are on a holy path and I'm right there by your side. So thank you for joining me today. Good luck on your way, on your path, and I'll see you in a bit. All right, goodbye.